Dear students, this is the last lecture in Respiratory Physiology, Applied Aspects Part 2. Asphyxia. It is a condition where acute hypoxia and hypercapnia occur together. Causes due to obstruction of respiratory passage like in strangulation, choking, drowning, hypocalcemic tetany with severe laryngospasm. Stages of asphyxia. The first stage is stage of exaggerated breathing. It lasts for approximately 1 minute. It is followed by stage of convulsion. Again, it will last for 1 minute. And the last is stage of coma. It can last for 3 minutes and it may be followed by death. In the first stage of exaggerated breathing, strong stimulation of respiration with violent respiratory efforts which ends in loss of consciousness due to severe hypoxia. In second stage of convulsions, there is rise in blood pressure, heart rate, development of acidosis, and convulsions due to increase in secretions of catecholamines. It is associated with micturition and defecation. The patient can be revived at this stage by giving artificial respiration. Third and the last stage is stage of coma. If artificial respiration is not started, then respiratory movements become sluggish, gasping, and person goes into a state of coma. Death occurs due to respiratory central depression and cardiac arrest. Let us discuss drowning, which is one of the causes of asphyxia. In 10% of the cases, the first gasp of water triggers severe laryngospasm, and further entry of water into the lungs is prevented. It causes asphyxia and finally death without any water in the lungs. In majority of the cases of drowning, glottis relaxes and water enters into the lungs. Now if this water is fresh water, it is hypotonic, it gets absorbed rapidly, enters into the circulation and causes intravascular hemolysis. And if this water is sea water, it is hypertonic, so it drains the water from circulation into the lungs and there will be increase in lung volume and decrease in blood volume. Treatment of drowning. The immediate goal in the treatment of drowning is of course resuscitation. But long-term treatment must also take into account the circulatory effects of the water in the lungs. Next topic is periodic breathing. As the name indicates, here the breathing occurs in periods. It is an abnormality of respiration. It occurs in a number of diseased conditions. Here, there is repeated sequences of apnea followed by respiration. There are two types of periodic breathing. First is Kain-Stokes breathing and second is Biot's breathing. First, Kain-Stokes breathing. It is the most common type of periodic breathing. There is gradual onset and repeated sequence of apnea followed by gradual restoration of respiration. It is characterized by slowly waxing and waning type of respiration. Causes of Kain-Stokes breathing may be voluntary hyperventilation, infants, deep sleep, cardiac failure, brain damage, uremia, ingestion of morphine, or increased intracranial pressure. See the diagram. The above one is showing pattern of breathing in Kain-Stokes breathing. See the respiratory pattern. At first there is apnea, then there is gradual onset of normal breathing, then again there is gradual onset of apnea. So there is a rhythmic regular cycle of apnea followed by normal respiration. In the lower diagram, two curves are shown. The red one is showing change in the PCO2 of lung blood and the blue one is showing change in the PCO2 of respiratory neurons. So here there is a clear-cut delay between change in PCO2 of lung and change in PCO2 of brain. And due to this delay, maybe due to cardiac failure or circulatory problem, the respiratory center is taking some time to give response, and due to which there are cycles of apnea and normal respiration. The second type of periodic breathing, which is not most common, is Biot's breathing. It is abrupt in onset, while Kain-Stokes breathing was gradual in onset. In Biot's breathing, 3 to 4 cycle of normal respiration is followed by abrupt onset of apnea, and again there is abrupt onset of normal respiration. Causes are meningitis or any disease affecting respiratory center located in medulla. Our next topic is sleep apnea. Apnea means absence of spontaneous breathing. Occasionally, apnea occurs during normal sleep. Each episode may last for 10 seconds or more, and it may occur 300 to 500 times in each night. There are two types of sleep apnea: obstructive and central. Obstructive sleep apnea is caused by blockage of upper airways. It is characterized by loud snoring, labored breathing, fragmented and restless sleep with daytime drowsiness. There is increased sympathetic activity, high heart rates, pulmonary and systemic hypertension, elevated risk of cardiovascular disease. Causes are obesity, nasal obstruction, very large tongue, enlarged tonsil or adenoids, certain abnormal shape of soft palate. Second type is central sleep apnea. It occurs when neural drive to respiratory muscles is transiently abolished. Causes are stroke, damage to central respiratory center, abnormality of respiratory neuromuscular apparatus. These type of patients are extremely sensitive to even small dose of narcotics and sedatives. So caution must be taken while giving these medicines. A very important disease in respiratory system is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. It is also known as chronic obstructive lung disease, chronic obstructive airway disease, chronic airflow limitation, or chronic obstructive respiratory disease. But the famous term is COPD. Now, this disease refers to chronic bronchitis and emphysema, a pair of two commonly coexisting diseases of the lungs in which the airways become narrowed. This leads to a limitation of the flow of air to and from the lungs, causing shortness of breath. See the above diagram of normal lungs and compare it with lower diagram of COPD lungs. See the above diagram showing normal alveoli with normal air-filled sacs. Now compare it with lower diagram. Now in the lower diagram you can see there is narrowing of the bronchioles and collection of yellow colored mucus. And you can also see ruptured wall of alveoli and large sized air-filled alveoli. So COPD includes two diseases, chronic bronchitis and emphysema. We should not confuse between COPD and asthma. COPD mostly occurs in midlife, while onset of the asthma may be early in the childhood. COPD is slowly progressive disease. Symptoms of asthma vary from day to day and symptoms worse mostly at night or early morning. In COPD, there is a long smoking history mostly. In asthma, history of allergy, rhinitis or eczema or family history may be present. Sometimes a patient with features of both asthma as well as COPD may be found. It is called asthma COPD overlap syndrome. It is characterized by persistent airflow limitation with several features usually associated with asthma and several features with COPD. So, asthma COPD overlap syndrome is identified in clinical practice by features that it shares with both asthma and COPD. In chronic bronchitis, there is narrowing of the airway with excessive collection of mucus. So that you can see in the above figure yellowish coloration of the mucus collection, and due to inflammation the thickness of the wall of the respiratory passage is more. So this is a clear cut classical view of chronic bronchitis. In emphysema, there is rupture of the wall of the alveoli with over expansion of the alveoli. You can see in the below diagram the air sacs are enlarged here, so there is more physiological dead space. So it is a clear cut view of emphysema. If you are interested in learning COPD in detail, I have already uploaded 3 videos on COPD. You can refer it on YouTube. So with this, we are ending with respiratory system lectures. Thank you very much.